don't think so.
I just think if you had the exclamation point or the question mark at the beginning of a sentence,
you
would know how
you already know to be excited.
You know your inflection.
So welcome to the middle of this conversation. We think that upside down question marks and upside down exclamation points should be used in English language. We steal that from the Hispanic community.
We're going to adopt it.
Yeah.
At least we should adopt it on a personal level.
Yeah, we'll start. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah,
we'll see what the fuck happens.
So welcome out to the Aaron and Austin Show. It is our 19th episode.
Pushing it through.
Be kind of amazed by that.
Yeah,
I guess.
We're getting somewhere, right?
Yeah. Today we have journalist, writer, musician, cook, amazing guy.
That about covers
Reporter?
it.
Joe Stump. Yeah. Joe Stump's in the house.
Thanks for doing this, Joe.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I saw your name in the Chinese menu, the Great Wall. The Chinese menu.
I endorse Great Wall.
Who doesn't like Great Wall?
I'm with you.
Great Wall's not bad. I mean, anybody's got a good crab rangoon.
That's great, right in the name.
Yeah, and they came in and opened 10 restaurants, and I don't think any of them's closed. I mean, they came in and just was like, we ain't opening one of these bitches. We're opening 10. You guys ready for this shit?
Have you ever noticed though that every town has that same menu?
Pretty much.
Like the Chinese restaurant. Yeah.
The Chinese restaurant menu?
Yeah, it's the same menu, roughly.
Well, they're fun to watch. They have open kitchens. You can kind of check them out.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, real quick, let's get to a graphic before we get too far into this for the shows next week.
Go support local shows.
Please go out and see some local shows. Weed water.
So yeah, go see local shows. We're back with Joe Stump. So hey man, have been writing some books. I saw Wicked Wichita, and now you have Iconic Eats.
Yes, I did Wicked Wichita about 4 years ago, and Iconic Eats of Wichita was published in earlier this year.
Fill us in on Wicked Wichita. Basically a crime history in Wichita, huh?
Yeah, Wicked Wichita. This book here.
Yeah, hold it up.
Was,
you can show. That's when we show that. So
it covers kind of the seedy side underworld of Wichita's first 50 years from the city's founding, arrival of the railroad in 1872 up to about 1922, and so you go from this crazy, rough frontier town to beginnings of a pretty good sized city with bank robbers and all that kind of stuff in it. So,
wow.
What inspired you to get into starting that book?
I have started out my career as a crime reporter a long time ago. I've always had a fascination with criminals for some reason. I've covered a lot of court cases, just something I wanted to do. And the more time I spend in Wichita, the more great, true old stories I came across. So I just collected them for the book.
Nice. So you just kind of from people's accounts and...
No, it was mainly a lot of work in newspaper archives, some court documents, reading some previous histories as well.
So sifting through a lot of
stuff.
Microfilms and stuff?
Yeah, the Kansas State Historical Society maintains a database of every newspaper published in the state, almost every paper, from before the Civil War up to 1922.
Oh, wow.
How easy is it to access that information?
It's free to anybody with a Kansas driver's license. And it's got a search engine and everything.
Public domain,
so,
basically.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's a tremendous resource.
So you started using that and putting together...
Yeah.
What gave you the idea to do the crimes? Just because you liked crime and you wanted to...
Yeah, several histories have been written about Wichita, and they don't spend too much time on the criminal part.
They'd rather gloss that over.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't go and read all the archives and stuff either.
Yeah.
And go and hit all the newspapers.
But if you talk to anybody on a daily basis, what used to sell newspapers was crime.
Right.
That's what sells news for sure.
And it's just interesting. I mean, there's a lot of drama involved, some very colorful characters in the city's past. I wanted to show that Wichita is not, another thing I wanted to show, Wichita is not this boring place, out in the middle of nowhere. What is out in the middle of nowhere? But it's not really boring. It's got quite a fascinating history.
We certainly get lumped in that category, though. I remember
Or flyover state. I mean,
it was like Jimmy Kimmel or something gave away tickets, like tickets to Wichita. And it was like, oh great, like it was this big joke.
Let them think that we got it pretty good here.
We've actually had a lot of national recognition lately when we've hosted the NCAA tournament and we hosted some other things, and people came here and realized that hey, Wichita's kind of a fucking cool place. And you don't have to break the bank to fucking do anything here.
Very livable, in my opinion.
And did you see this thing of apparently we're on like the top 20 places for barbecue in the country?
Yeah, we're in the top fucking like 10.
Interesting.
Which they didn't put a lot of Texas in.
But I like there's some good barbecue here. Pig in, pig out, catered our wedding.
Well, apparently, I think it was B&C Barbecue that they were talking about being in that top tier.
Oh, were they was it just them only, or was it the whole city of Wichita?
Well, I think it was the whole city of Wichita, but that was the one that like stuck out to whoever was writing this.
Giorgio's is really good. I don't know if you like that.
For sure.
Kind of on by the front of the liquor store by the canal route. Really good place.
Legit ass place. So, is there any big stories in the Wicked Wichita that stuck out?
Like Vegas.
Give us a couple. Yeah, give us a couple of highlights.
For me, the best chapter is the longest chapter in the book. It's right in the center of the book, and it's about a street that was notorious not just in Wichita but throughout the entire southwestern United States. And this street still exists, but it was so bad they had to change the name.
Oh, really?
So can you guess what the street was?
Broadway, Main,
Grove,
Main Street.
It's named for a saint now.
Oh, of course it is. They flipped that right around.
Yeah, St. Francis. So it used to be called Tremont Street, and from Douglas south to right around where Kellogg is now was nothing but saloons, gambling halls, and mainly brothels. And it was located very close. Back then, Wichita had not just one train station, but multiple ones up and down there. So lots of travelers would get off and head for Tremont, and a whole lot of local people made use of it as well. And there wasn't a day that went by when either the Eagle and or the Beacon didn't have a report about something going on.
So it's pretty lively little spot.
Yeah, just a constant stream of murders and robberies and crazy characters like Cocaine Katie. You're reading through these old newspapers, you don't expect to see people called Cocaine Katie.
Well, Cocaine Katie was in that Dr. Hook too.
Right. So she gets thrown or has to go before the judge for beating up another one of the working girls on Tremont Street, and he fines her $25, a lot of money back then. She says, well, you might as well make $125, Judge, because I'm not paying it anyway. And the newspapers back then just devoted a lot of coverage to crime, so I didn't have to search that hard for material. It was sitting there.
Yeah.
Wait.
So you kind of can see, and then you go look in the archives, and their front page is pretty easy to just come right apart.
Yeah, and then the other thing was that the city just had because it had prohibition in place for so long, but yet there was never a time when you could not get a drink in Wichita. So there was a lot of official corruption going on. People getting paid off to look the other way, not enforce the law, and it just led to a very colorful situation.
Kind of a nice Wild West little spot here.
There was a time, I want to say it was like 2013 or something like that, to where we were on the top 20 most corrupt cities
really?
In the U.S.
Well, back then we definitely were.
Yeah.
Well, we ain't changed much, it don't seem like.
And I want to say that back in the day, there was an island in the middle of the river.
Ackerman Island.
Yeah, yep. Ackerman Island. Okay,
elaborate.
So Ackerman Island was kind of where all this stuff happened. That was kind of the adult fantasy land kind of thing. And the Wichita Monrovians was a Negro. I don't know if they were on the Negro League, but they were a baseball team that challenged the KKK to a match and won.
Yep, baseball game. I played on there. Was a baseball stadium on Ackerman Island.
Yeah,
and they played the KKK. Back then, the KKK was sort of a civic group. Very out
it was
front.
Like the Rotary.
Yeah, it was like
well, I mean, earlier than you could get away with being super racist.
Yeah, you're right. The Monrovians are a fascinating topic. We just had an article on them in our paper, and they were one of the few black baseball clubs in the United States that owned their own stadium. Yep. It was located at 12th and Mosley. And they weren't part of the big Negro League, but they supplied players to the Kansas City Monarchs, which were the premier team.
So they were kind of like a farm system for the Negro League. Yeah.
There was one player in particular, and I
never even heard of this baseball team. Say it one more time. The Monrovians?
Named for Monrovia, the city in Africa.
Oh, okay.
You know, they purposely named it for that. They were black owned,
bit.
and it's very cool. You can get their baseball cap online now.
Oh, I bet they got a tight ass hat.
It's pretty cool.
Monrovians. How do you spell it?
Monrovi.
And if you want the hat, I believe the site is Everly Field or something.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've been meaning to pick up one.
Yeah.
Dude, I would love that.
Very interesting. I cannot remember the name of their best player, but they, you know, people like Cool Papa Bell and Satchel Paige, all the great black players came through and played mainly at the NBC tournament through the years.
Yeah.
Nice.
But Ackerman Island kind of held the whole.
I mean, I don't even know much about Ackerman Island.
Well,
like, you guys are schooling me like big time right here.
Not a lot of people do, because everybody would like this narrative of Wichita is such a boring place, you know, screw, you know.
Mm-hmm. Nothing to do.
But like our history isn't that. We're making it that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? We're the people like, you know, let's just play some video games and call it a night.
I think it's still pretty wild here.
Well,
yeah, if you know where to look.
we're getting there. Yeah, if you're plugged in, you know what I mean. And you're doing a pretty good job of staying plugged in. You still out playing with the band, aren't you?
Yep, still gigging pretty regularly. Do solo shows. I got a band called Fly By Night, and I've recently branched off into doing some jazz, singing the classics.
So you branched off by yourself doing some jazz, or your band's doing jazz?
Well, I kind of got this group called the Jazzy Gents or Fly By Jazz, depending on the night. I usually hook up with a drummer, a jazz drummer named Kim Trujillo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And then we'll get like some hot young instrumentalist from usually a WSU grad student to play sax or guitar with us. So I sing and play the songs, and then they fill in the gaps.
Nice.
Kevin's not playing sax with you anymore?
In the regular band, he is.
Okay.
But I'm talking about songs like jazz songs that people actually know, recognize, have words, melodies. You know,
Yeah, instead of that like, real eccentric
Sinatra,
jazz.
Duke Ellington, up through, Michael Bublé, Steely Dan, stuff like that. But a lot of classics.
Some of that jazz, they challenge you to be able to sit through. They're like, you gotta really love jazz to sit through this.
That's not my thing.
It's like a real eccentric version of like, can you listen to my music? Like, it's like, come on. Like, I love jazz, but you're not even like, this doesn't even have like a rhythm. This is not symmetrical at all.
That's kind of where I'm at with jazz. Like the field is too wide for me. You know, I like that cool like John Scofield kind of real listenable, groovy jazz. You know, it makes you kind of bop around a little bit. But you can get into that really weird jazz to where there's no wrong notes. It's just jazz.
Yeah, see, like that's weird to me. Like you're hearing people like
horrible.
blow through the spit tube, and you're like, that's not a note.
No, it's not even close.
But yeah, so you started your career as a journalist,
Right.
And you went to. Did you go to WSU or did you?
I went to Missouri.
You went to Missouri because you're from Illinois originally.
Illinois,
That's what I read on your Facebook page. So what inspired you to be a journalist from the beginning?
I think there was a lot of excitement around journalism when I was growing up. Journalists had just brought down the President of the United States. That's how old I am.
So what? What time?
Woodward
put us in
and
a time-
Bernstein. All the president's men. They brought down Nixon. Basically, the Washington Post did through their reporting. There was this, hit movie made about it. It looked like a very glamorous job, and it is a great job. Once you take that obligatory vow of poverty, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's like musicians. And podcasters.
But it is a constant stream of learning, becoming an instant expert on a different topic every day, meeting a lot of fascinating people, famous people, and you get to write and get your words read by lots of people. So it's very appealing in a lot of ways. So that's why I did it.
So what'd you start? So you go to Missouri?
Yeah,
college in Missouri.
Yeah.
So where do you? So you're MU, you're Tiger, huh?
Yep.
So the Kansas Jayhawks.
Not quite graduate. I'm still technically an undergraduate.
That's good. Hey, that's better than most of us get anyway. So what did you start? What did you start doing first off?
I took a job with a weekly paper in a tiny little town in northeast Texas. Lasted there about 3 months before cultural differences mandated me moving on. Then got a job at the bigger paper down the road, the Texarkana Gazette. Pretty good sized paper, about 35,000. There for a few years. Went to the Tulsa Tribune, an afternoon paper. Those don't even exist anymore. In Tulsa, really loved Tulsa, but then moved down the Arkansas River to Little Rock, to the statewide paper in Little Rock, and he was there for a good 10 years covering, Bill Clinton, Whitewater,
Little Rock's
all this stuff.
There's a lot going on in Little Rock.
And then I really truly got burned out on that on the news side of journalism. Loved to cook. Moved up the Arkansas River again, all the way to Wichita to become the food editor at the Eagle.
Is that what you signed on here originally?
Yeah.
So they gave you, without any really doing any food, and they just gave you a chance?
Well, I had written a few food stories on the side, and I had been a kind of a serious hobby cook for a long time. I had a ton to learn, no doubt about it. But I had some background in it.
Yeah,
and you don't really need. That's another good thing about journalism. You don't really need a degree. There's not a license.
Well, it's on you. How much do you want to learn? It's kind of like anything. Like, do you want to be good at this? You can go get good at it.
Yeah. So it was a great job. Had it for 10 years. Met a lot of so many great cooks in town, and they were very welcoming. Bring you in the kitchen. Share their recipes, techniques, ingredients, all that kind of stuff. It was a blast. I always thought I had not just the best job in the newsroom, but really one of the best in the city.
And you're doing like food classes and stuff, right?
I teach culinary classes at Mark Arts. About twice a month.
So do you? Is it like basic skills, or is it like what?
No, it's more like I'll come up with menus. A lot of my real interest is ethnic food, so I'll do like classes on Vietnamese cooking, or Lebanese, or Mexican, or Greek, or Thai, or And
so each class is kind of based on a cuisine.
Yeah, and then like last night, the one I did was based on my newest book, Iconic Eats, and I took what I considered the most iconic Wichita recipes from that, and we did about 10 of those last night.
So you did the Wicked. Is these your only 2 books?
Yep.
So you did the Wicked Wichita book. What inspired you to do the food book? Did you start collecting recipes from the town and you wanted to put that all together?
Yeah, I think I estimated I've written like 700 stories about food in this town. So I had a lot of material.
Yeah,
and
sure.
People were nice enough to share their recipes and stories with me. And so I had such a good time doing the first one. Not that it's not a lot of work, but once it's published, it's so much fun to go out there and sort of promote it, talk about it, just like things like this, or the groups. I just got done talking to a group at Botanic about my new book. It's fun, you get out and meet people. And it's like they always say, it's a lot more fun to have written than writing is. So
I've always wrote too, so I know what you mean.
So I wanted to do another one, and I knew I had the material, and the publisher asked me, had a slightly different suggestion. I said I didn't really want to do that, but I'd love to do a cookbook. They're a history-related publisher. That's what they specialize in. They said, well, if you can weave enough history into it, go for it. And so it's sort of a combination combining my love of history with my love of cooking. So I go into why there's so many great Vietnamese restaurants in Wichita, why there's so much good Mexican food, why the Lebanese, dominate the city's fine dining scene. And
they do.
To me, it's all very fascinating background. And then there's, like I say, about 180 recipes that people have given me.
So you got full on like step-by-step recipes in the book as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you go through venues and restaurants here, or past restaurants and stuff like that too in the book? Or is it all just food from this area?
It's not all just restaurants by any means. It's I'd say at least half of the recipes in here are from home cooks.
Nice.
But about half from restaurants, and I've got kind of organized. I've got like a Vietnamese chapter, Mexican chapter, Lebanese chapter, and then I've got home cooks, professional cooks, prize winners. And I've got one chapter which I really enjoy doing, like on the city's present and future food scene. So I talk about how just within the last 10 to 15 years, we've got all these great food trucks, and I've got a recipe from the Flying Stove guys, who I think really got the whole thing rolling, so to speak. And then the whole farm to table movement. So I got recipes from some local growers, and the whole brew pub movement and how they collaborate with trucks.
And you covered most of it all, really.
Yeah, I tried to get as much as I could. I figured this is probably going to be my only cookbook. So
did you target it like, okay, Connie's is great Mexican. I like the recipe for their beans.
Yeah, for the most part, these were recipes I already had when I sat down to write the book. I did probably collect another 24 during the course of doing it.
Nice.
But there were places maybe like, not specifically Connie's, but ones I thought, that is so iconic. I knew I needed a recipe from Doodah Diner. Right. So I got a recipe from Doodah Diner. They're very gracious to share it. Same with the Flying Stove guys. I'd actually left Eagle before they went into business, but I contacted them. They shared one of their best recipes, or most popular chicken doobie. And not going to say how they came up with that name, but and
we can speculate.
and let's see what else. So no Connie's, but I do have like the recipe from the church where Connie used to cook. The original.
Was there anybody that was like not too like open about giving you recipes and shit?
Through the years, I gotta say, honestly, through the years, most people were very willing to do it. Like Tanya Tandock, I got a couple of her recipes in there. The late great Tanya, and she was one of the first people I talked to in this town. She's like, for a real cook, there aren't too many secrets. And of course, she could just sit down and take a taste or two of a dish and tell you everything in it and how it was made.
Explain to me who she is. I don't know who she is.
Tanya Tandock did Tanya's Soup Kitchen.
Yeah, and she was tragically murdered about 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years.
Just
And her restaurant's still around. Though.
Really?
Still,
It's wicked history.
still doing. Her restaurant's around, still doing great.
What's her restaurant?
Tanya's Soup Kitchen.
Soup Kitchen.
I've never even heard of that place.
Yeah, it's over on Douglas.
I thought I lived here.
And Doodah did a tribute to Tanya. Mm-hmm. They made their their eggs Benedict.
Yeah,
they made it at Tanya's.
Yeah,
well, that's nice of them.
And Patrick, the main chef at Doodah is amazing. He has this like scratch kitchen just to put out
It's awesome.
breakfast and lunch.
Oh, dude, that place is bomb. You
Yeah.
can go get you Sunday brunch at that joint.
My picture's on the wall.
So just as I said that I thought another reason I did it was just as I said I did the history book because I really thought Wichita had a fascinating history. I think Wichita is a great food town if you know where to look, want to get off the beaten path, not just pull into Outback Steakhouse, for dinner.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, and Wichita is a test market. We're not just a great food town, but we are a finicky food town, and the whole world knows it. They test dishes here. Do you guys remember those broccoli cheese tots from Sonic?
yeah.
I don't actually.
Remember the double chicken sandwich from KFC? The 2 chicken breasts?
The double or something?
Yeah, it's like chicken up.
I do remember
it was
that
chicken
one.
on chicken with the
double
bone.
down. The double down.
Yeah, shit, whatever it was, double your ass full of chicken.
It was the heartache.
With just cheese and bacon in between.
So these corporations, they run trials through here because we're finicky. If we don't like it,
It ain't gonna sell.
it ain't gonna sell anywhere else.
Well, restaurants are the same way. They come in and think they're going to swing dick around here, and boy, it don't go well for them sometimes. Talk to Taco Bueno.
More than that, it's more about like if the finicky ass people here like it, it'll do fine everywhere else.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a tough business for sure. I wouldn't want to be in it.
And the restaurant turnover.
Man, the restaurant business is tough, and I love everybody who's in that service industry. They're usually amazingly interesting fucking people, and even all the way down to the fucking busboys and servers and shit. But boy, that is an industry I don't think I'd ever could invest a fucking dollar in.
There's a lot of good chefs, and the chefs bounce back. It doesn't matter what restaurants. Like I always say, bands break up, musicians move on.
Yep.
Restaurants go under. Those chefs are going to surface.
Yes, they will.
Yeah,
they will.
Like Jimmy Vo, I really like a lot of the stuff that Jimmy Vo does.
Who is he? I don't know who he is.
Jimmy Vo, he's doing a lot of stuff with Oddfellow Hall right now. He's kind of doing.
He does a lot of pop-ups, and he's doing
these pop-up kind
that kind of shit is awesome. I love the food truck pop-up shit.
And he's a grower too. He has like a huge.
There's that warehouse down on South Broadway.
He's a weed grower?
It's microgreens.
Microgreens. Oh, and like bean sprouts for the Asian restaurants and like local, stuff they need, herbs and stuff like that. So
that's
he's very well
Got a
known
big warehouse.
in the business, just being a talented cook.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite restaurant in town?
Well, it all depends,
right? Because you're talking cuisines, you have to
it just depends on what I'm hungry for. I love pho, so right now I like H&M up at 17th and Broadway for that.
I like the one that's on Pawnee for.
Oh yeah, well if you're talking about Pawnee and Oliver, Saigon Bistro at Hillside and Pawnee.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love their boon.
I've rarely had a bad bowl of pho in this town. I mean, we have amazing Vietnamese food.
Yeah, we do. We have a pretty big Vietnamese community here. So
read this book and find out why.
Yeah, we do.
Was there? Tell
back
us.
in the 70s, it was.
School us real quick.
Well, so when the communists took over South Vietnam, a bunch of people, South Vietnamese, immigrated under emergency, and the Catholic and Lutheran churches sponsored about 800 to 1,000 of them. And they were almost all former military officials, government officials, and their families. So they got here, and then they started bringing their other family members and friends. And so right now, and then there was another big wave when the communists really increased persecution. This would have been maybe in the mid 80s, and that's when actually all the boat people.
Yeah, this wasn't just South Vietnamese. This was like the Hmong people in general, like Cambodia, Laos.
Yeah, you're right. And so anyway, right now the population is like 3%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's way more than most cities have. You'd have to go to someplace maybe like Houston or Orange County or something like that to find maybe a bigger population. I mean, they're small enclaves, but we have a large Vietnamese population. But what's obvious is that there couldn't be this many Vietnamese restaurants if the Anglos didn't love them. And you go in and most of them, it's usually about 2/3 to 3/4 American, if not more, right? Because it's great food.
Americans love other ethnic foods.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, we love that shit. I mean, very, very rarely are you going to ask in a typical American bro, what's your favorite food? And they're going to say continental. Like, no one says that. No one fucking says
like
that.
a continental breakfast. Like, I like little tubs of yogurt.
Yeah, nobody fucking eats American cuisine.
Yeah, you're kind of right about that.
Everybody's
what
either
is
like
American cuisine?
hamburgers, hot dogs, steaks, potatoes, and shit like that, maybe?
Hamburgers, Germans, Frankfurters.
And let's see, favorite restaurant. I love the chicken truck on 21st Street up by Market 21st. It's
kind of a truck.
Yeah, and now it's morphed into they have a permanent sort of outbuilding with a big grill, and it's always had a big pink truck there. I think it's called. I don't know what it's called, but I got one of the recipes in here too.
Nice, and that's at where?
21st and Broad and Market.
21st and Market.
Yeah, between
it's that
Arkansas.
Plaza kind of thing.
Yeah, it's between Broadway and Arkansas, about halfway between there. Great place. I mean, you just drive down there, you'll smell it, you want to stop.
I love hearing about new gyms in town. This place is like, and from your, I'm sure you know, being a food editor and all that, but this place is full of like great fucking like corner joints.
Oh yeah,
amazing
it
food,
is.
man. That's one of my favorite things about this place.
Yeah.
I rarely eat at I eat at fucking McDonald's and shit, like everybody does when you're in a fucking hurry. But like the local food here is good. Like I try to always stop and eat at a local place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's
Shane Gross is doing a real good job. She's got the anchor. She's got it's like, I forget the name of it. It's like
the meat market right next door.
The meat market next door supplies
cool.
the thing. You know, like she's got that whole block and.
I've got her photo in here mentioned. Not a recipe from there, but her photo, because she's somebody who's really into collaborating.
Yeah.
And so she threw the Strong Ale Fest. She would invite other brewers to come, local brewers that could be seen as competitors to come in. She'd invite food trucks to park out in front of her place, could be seen as competitors. But she realized that like when people get together, they can sometimes accomplish more.
And you alleviate a little bit of that competition shit too. Yeah. Like everybody's gonna fucking eat. We can't eat at every restaurant every time. Like we don't need you talking shit on a restaurant and you talking shit on a restaurant and ruining business for each other.
I just don't see the point, man. Okay, I think bigger, better things come from cooperation than competition. Mm-hmm. And competition is such a weird phenomenon. Anyway, really, I mean, how do I compare apples and oranges here? Yep. If we're both trying to make a Philly cheesesteak, okay, I can see maybe a little competition here.
Yeah.
But still, that's such a subjective thing. Okay? He might like my chicken steak better than,
And it almost might, if you break it down even more, you might even have to have the same exact ingredients.
Yeah.
Like if you make a Philly cheesesteak one way and I make it this way.
Compare it. Like, come on, how do we do that?
Like some people's are going to be better than others for sure.
Agreed.
So how are your chickens doing, man?
My chickens are doing good. We've got 3 right now. And let's see. I do need to thank you for getting us into the chicken lifestyle. And
it is a lifestyle.
I do blame you for the destruction of our backyard, which really doesn't even resemble.
You didn't want that grass, right? I mean,
no,
you didn't really
no.
Dude, chickens eat everything that moves.
Well, they scratch it up.
Scratch it up.
They eat every little bug that moves. They eat every mice.
Yeah, they basically. When you're in the egg business, you're really in the manure business.
Yeah,
that's
basically, true. It's everywhere.
Yeah, and then I saw one of my big red, one of my Rhode Island Reds, just straight up murk a mouse.
Oh yeah, they don't. Dude, they're like little raptors, man. They're omnivores.
Yeah, I thought cats were mousers. Those chickens will take them down.
Cats ain't even fucking.
Chickens are the closest relation to dinosaurs that we know of.
That's what they say, for sure. They are little
They are
raptors.
pretty vicious. They're dumb, but they're vicious.
But my wife loves them, so I do not see us getting out of the chicken business.
How many chickens do you have?
3.
3 chickens.
And you've stayed at 3, which I commend you for.
Well, no, we've had as many as 5. But you know how they have a kind of a high mortality rate, as you know.
From dogs and shit.
No, they're just susceptible to all kinds of
Everything.
little diseases and
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But yes, dogs,
take
raccoons,
care of
especially fox.
Raccoons will just kill them for fun. They don't even eat them.
They don't even eat them.
Really?
Yeah, they just kill them for fun.
They break in and fuck the nest up and kill them?
Yeah, just kill them
What a
all.
bunch of dicks.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. So when that happens, we just go out and get some more.
Yeah, what does a chicken cost? What do you like?
Oh, what, like $10, something like that? 10,
Yeah,
15?
somewhere
something like
8.
that.
So how many
15.
fucking eggs are you getting a day? One?
Depends on what you buy.
Yeah.
Like a Rhode Island Red would probably lay one a day.
Yeah, a good
Like a
chicken,
good
when they're in their
production,
prime,
yeah.
you'll get 6 or 7 a week.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then even in the middle of the winter, maybe it go down to 3 or 4, and then it come back up. And then they usually have, I think, to me, they lay for about 4 years max, somewhere 4.5 maybe.
How long do they live? The fuck do you do with the things when they stop laying eggs? Just are your pets?
You can.
You stew them.
Can you eat them? Do you just eat them?
Oh,
or they become
no
your
way.
friends? They
All
become
right, so
Not in
or
my.
you just leave the gate
Not
open and
in
hope a
our
raccoon
house.
comes twirling by?
So,
I love how Aaron and I
That's
both
an idea.
immediately went to eat them.
so I had quite a few chickens. Okay, like I had up to 15 chickens at one point in
Jesus.
my backyard, and I went out on tour, and Justin does not
Fuck with the chickens.
share my love of chickens. Okay,
So the chickens was your
he's actually somewhat allergic to them, so he's just like, okay, man, I'm not taking care of these chickens while you go out on tour. I'm just not doing it. And so I was like, well, all right, I guess we're going to eat a lot of chicken here for a little while. And so we took them to a guy that processed them, and we ended up with all this chicken, and we learned how to can chicken at that point.
Huh. Interesting.
So I still have a jar of.
That's a big can. You got to use a whole can?
No.
I'm not going to be able to let my wife watch this segment of the show because she's someone
We'll
who
skip
takes
this part.
6 chickens to the vet.
Oh,
That's
wow.
hard because most
I don't
vets
do that.
don't even know how to treat a chicken. I mean,
Yeah, you have to, like,
vets treat
dogs and
dogs and
cats.
cats
Yeah.
and horses.
How can I fix this chicken? Well, a little garlic pepper will go a long way.
Well, you ain't going to eat it with all these fucking feathers on it. I'd get these motherfuckers off.
So,
That just shows up to fix a cow.
Anyway,
It's like a burger
that's,
on your table.
we're in it for the eggs, not the meat. Okay.
Yep, for sure.
That's what
And the companionship.
I always like. They are kind of cool animals. It seems like because I have
Chickens are awesome.
I have like 3 clients that for pest control. They have chickens, and like their chickens are fucking cool, man. They and those people always give me eggs and shit. So
I ever tell you about the time I took my chickens to the bar?
you took all 15 chickens to the bar?
No, I took Red. I have this one chicken that like.
He was your buddy.
Well, she.
She.
But she was awesome. Okay, you'd walk into the pen and they do this little like, okay, pick me up. You know what I mean?
Like
They
fluff out.
They just totally submit.
They submit,
They're just like, okay,
submission
I'm done.
pose.
I'm good. And Red would want to be picked up because she knew that like she could just ride right here, and I'd kind of love on her because she was cool. And like that was the only chicken in the whole flock that really would do that consistently.
Like
So-
you had like a nice touching relationship
Yeah.
with it. You could pet it and shit.
Yeah, so the Driftwood bar back in the day, they were doing an
yes, I
event
remember.
of
Still right.
it was
It's still there, isn't it? Over there off
Chicken
53rd
shit
and
bingo.
MacArthur, I think.
Yep, it's down
they
there.
were doing chicken shit bingo, and they were like, Aaron, can you bring a chicken? And I was like, oh
I got
yeah,
the
man,
fucking
I got
chicken
you.
for you
I got
guys.
the right one.
I got the perfect
Yeah.
chicken.
So
Well, they're kind of iconic. I tell you, chickens, they were like the 3rd or 4th domesticated animal in the world, and they show up in a lot of folklore, mythology, and like if you ever watch a movie and they want to set a scene down south, look for the chickens.
yep,
They'll come, the camera open up, chickens flying.
out in the yard,
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
fence.
walking around and
Running
shit.
around.
Yeah,
It's like, oh yeah, we're down south in the country somewhere.
Dude, they do that shit in documentaries all the time, dude. They pay into that first. Like, here we are in bumfuck where this guy killed somebody. Chickens first. It's 100%.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
So, you've got 2 books in the hole.
Yep.
Are you currently thinking about writing another book?
I am, yeah.
So, do you have ideas for it, or are you just kind of waiting to see what happens?
Yeah,
or?
I've got a couple of different ideas I'm working on. One's a history of the part of the country I'm from, southern Illinois, around the St. Louis area. There's a strip of land called the American Bottom along the Mississippi River, like 60 miles, that I think has a fascinating history.
Give us a little. What happened there?
Oh, everything from the first French capital of the United States and the first state capital of Illinois, up to the birth of rock and roll, which invented in East St. Louis by Chuck Berry, right? And a lot of industrial history there. It's a big industrial area.
I love Illinois, Chicago area.
So that's one. I want to do a novel at some point before I die. And then I wouldn't mind updating Wichita Wicked history of
I was going to. That was
30 or 40 years. You don't, with that kind of book, you don't want to get too
prevalent,
too recent.
So what year did you say that one ends at?
1922.
So 1922, you could go to like maybe the 70s, from there to the 70s.
You'd think so, but there's a lot of people that were
still around.
Yeah.
Well, there might be some fun ass interviews, or not.
Too soon. You know?
So we'll see. But I did come across a lot of juicy stories when I was researching that one that didn't fit into that time frame, and so I already got some material, and so we'll see what happens.
What's your idea for a novel? Is it a fiction?
You know, I've got several. Oh yeah, definitely fiction, and I don't know. I'm still
kicking it
trying
around?
to figure it out. Yeah, if I knew, I probably would have written it by now.
Criminal
Yeah, right.
chickens that are also amazing chefs.
It might involve chickens. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a pretty good history to them. It seems like you could get a lot out of it. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, now you got a Banty, so.
What is
They're
that?
great.
Is that a kind of chicken?
Bantams are little, like, fur-footed chickens.
About this big.
Yeah, they're little tiny guys.
Do they lay eggs too?
Yeah.
Little tiny ones.
Yeah.
Little tiny
Yeah,
eggs?
they're cute.
Like little quail-looking eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Have you ever had any weird eggs, man? You know what I'm talking
Only
about?
from a sick chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a weird egg?
So,
I want to try an ostrich egg.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. Like random animal eggs? I
Or
didn't know you
snake.
meant like.
How are snake eggs?
Yeah, that's what I thought they were talking about.
So my chickens one time laid a really tiny egg that was about the size of a quarter,
Oh no.
and it had no yolk in it.
Does that mean something's wrong with the chickens, maybe? Or they're just having a weird day?
Just, bad day. I don't know. And then I've had them before to where like the shell is misshapen or like
Interesting.
kind of a weird texture to it. I've had them lay one before that didn't have much of a shell. It was just the membrane.
Interesting.
You
I'll
know?
tell you one thing, and we've harvested over 1,000 eggs easily,
Sure.
and never had a double yolk.
Never?
What is the percentage?
All right, what do you feed them?
Double,
Chicken
feed them
feed.
yolks. I
But
feel
a
like
lot of
if you
other
feed 'em-
stuff, let me tell you, we feed them good. They a steady diet of watermelon and all kind of stuff and good stuff in the summer. No meat or anything, but a lot of watery stuff in the summer that they obviously like, and then chicken feed.
Yep.
I don't know, but everybody else gets double yolks. I've never had one.
Wow. Yeah, I used to have them very regularly.
Have you given
Maybe
away
we
some of your
haven't had
eggs?
the right type. I mean, it's a
Maybe.
certain breeds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we give them away.
So maybe some of the given away ones you were double yolks. You think
Possible.
It's
possible.
I don't know what the percentages are on your chances of
I
getting
used
double
to set
yolks.
a cabbage. I'd screw an eye hook,
right.
into the bottom of a cabbage and swing it in their thing, so that they'd peck it and it would go like this. And it was great. Eventually, this cabbage is swinging around. And,
We've tried a few things like that. Our
Yeah.
chickens are not interested in any sort of games or exercise.
Really?
They just want to
They just kick
eat
it.
chickens. Yeah,
lazy
they're just
chickens, yeah.
lazy chickens. Yeah.
well, that's all right.
No, I want some fucking chicken. I don't know. Sounds like a lot of poop, though.
So you're currently writing for Active Age?
Yes, and that's a monthly newspaper for anybody 55 and up, and we distribute in Sedgwick, Butler, and Harvey County, and go out to about 57,000 people a month, making us probably the largest print publication in the state right now.
Huh?
And it's been around for 43 years. It's a nonprofit, and we get a lot of good support from our readers. We sell advertising for primary for our revenue, but we got like almost 100,000 in donations last year. So
Wow.
people that get it really support us. And we appreciate it because it's free. They don't have to pay anything.
What's your subject matter on Active Age?
Well, like a recent one, I like to say it's anybody 55 and up doing something interesting or interesting things for them to do. And so, we have stories about people doing activities like, rowing on the river. And I will say our readers really like history stories. Because I think the older you get, the more you like history.
I do
for
too.
whatever reason.
Same for me. The older
So
I get,
we
I like it
always
too.
try to include a history story or two. And then I think that the older residents of this area, Wichita and Sedgwick County, really get left out of almost every civic discussion about what should be done, like how government money should be spent, what our priorities should be. The focus is always on kids and young professionals, and I understand why that is, because they're looking to the future. But I think that they should try to make the area why not also make it the best area for somebody to retire in and live out their life?
Yeah, because we're going to retire here too.
Yeah, I mean,
it helps everybody.
And believe me, that is the last. Old people or older, I shouldn't say old. Older people are the last consideration when these policymakers sit down and make decisions. They are. If their ageism to me is just as prevalent as every other ism out there.
Yeah, a lot of people get like this really coarse thing about elderly people or anybody over the age of 55 that you're like, yeah, you forgot, you don't care anymore about like normal. That's not the case.
Not true, and the aging population gets younger every year because people's have maybe taken better care of their bodies, ate better, whatever. People are living longer than ever, and they're living better than ever into their older years. So it's important to me that the, society recognize that and make them a priority, and not just like, well, that's fine. You've lived here. You've worked all your life, paid taxes, but now you can just.
Yeah, it's not like your fucking life is over.
Enjoy your applesauce.
Yeah, it's not like your fucking life is over, man. Right?
Yeah.
No, it's not. A lot of people live a long time after retiring.
Yeah, or even from 50 on.
So, and a lot of people don't ever retire. People want to keep working, and so we in other words, what I'm trying to say is we also advocate for that population. We try to create a sense of community for them, and let them know that there's other people out there just like them doing fun things.
So, what do you do specifically for the paper? Do you write the whole shooting match, or what do you do?
No, but I am the only. We're a very small operation, a 3-person operation. It's me, an office manager, and advertising. So I'm in charge of all the editorial content. I probably write, I don't know, half of it every month, and then have freelancers do the rest.
So where can we get this?
It's free to anybody who would like to subscribe. There's no age limit. Anybody can subscribe.
So it's not a pickup paper somewhere you have to subscribe to it?
No, the really attractive thing to it for advertisers, it's actually put in subscribers' mailbox. It's not like thrown out in their yard like some kind of thing like that. It's addressed to them in their mailbox, and they've subscribed to get it.
Yeah, so they obviously want to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then we do distribute about 3,000 on newsstands around town. Dylan's unfortunately kicked out all the free papers that used to go there, but we have lots of stands. Like we probably have 150 locations, and we put about 20 in each one. It's everything from Valero to
like where you can
margaritas,
where you can get the splurge.
Yes, exactly.
Every place you can find those things.
Yes, any place you can find them, you can find us. So that's mainly to get our brand out there and attract new readers. Somebody may see it and say, "Hey, my mom would really like that," or
Yeah.
So where can we find your books in town? Where do you distribute?
Well, I am happy to sell them to anybody myself, but
go to him first. Message him.
Yeah. I'm easy to find, and then but the Watermark's been nice enough to carry them. Barnes and Noble has copies. I'm trying to think who else. I think Doodah Diner's got some copies. Nice. I think Mary at Owl's old and new bookstore up there in Delano's got some copies.
Nice.
So that's not too far from here. And it's available online too.
Cool. And if we wanted to see your band, are you guys playing anytime soon?
Yeah, I've got. Let me think here. I got two solo gigs this Saturday. One at Grace Hill in the afternoon, one at Blue Hook in the evening. I think I'm doing the jazz Thursday at Newport. The Thursday after that, and I know we're at Margaritas on the band is on like the 27th of August, whatever that is.
Cool.
And I think I'm at Mort's one of those Sundays too.
Yeah, beautiful.
So I hope you'll come out and
check out Fly By Night.
Yeah.
Check out Fly By Jazz. Is that what you were saying?
Fly By Night, Jazzy Gents, and Joe Stumpe solo gigs.
Damn, you're doing 3 different projects.
Yep.
And then you got the 2 books. You're working on another book. You're editing for a paper.
Yeah.
Man, you got a lot going on. Joe
In fact,
Stumpe's
I came preprepared to sing you a little song.
Did you?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, well,
I'll just a little snatch you one.
I'm totally
I'm
down.
always working on new songs.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
I'm totally down.
All right, give me that guitar.
That one's horribly out of tune. I'll find you a better
Find me
one.
one and two.
You can save me from all the coughing I'm doing. I can't wait to hear a song.
This one, a friend of mine that I play with, Tori Campbell, gave me this idea, and she said she was complaining about her friends, So this one's called "My Drunken Friends."
My Drunken Friends?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm in already.
I'll just do a verse. I won't belabor the point, but
shit, do as much as you want. I don't care. What you got over here?
Oh, this nothing. This whole thing. There you go, brother.
all right. This is the first one of "My Drunken Friends." Let's see. My drunken friends come around and stay too long. Smoke up all of my weed and tune my guitar wrong. That's what Tori said. Yes, there are times when I wish they'd be gone. But then they are and the party ends, and that's when I start missing them again. My low down, lousy, no good, drunken best friends.
I like this already. Nice.
I think you did write that about me. I think that's why you played it now.
Right? kind of fit into the host of the show.
Those aren't my friends. That was Tori's.
I bring my own weed though.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. Weed water, baby. Woo.
Well, man, I'm glad you made some time out of your busy schedule to come down and talk to us.
All right, well,
So where can we find all? Do you have social media stuff too?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Facebook, so we can find you on Facebook, and we can kind of get to all your stuff from there.
Yes.
That's where I found most of the information on you. So
Yep.
look him up on Facebook. Books, editing. He's got 2 books, and he's editing and writing for a paper, and he's got 3 musical projects. I mean, Joe Stump's got a lot of stuff for you to get in touch with. So
He is. What's the Great Wall thing? What do I read there? You get all your.
Oh, I had reviewed them for the Wichita Eagle years and years ago. This is probably 20 years ago. Now, I gave them a good review.
They've included some little thing on their menu.
a little quote. I can't remember what it is, but
I bet I have.
I liked it then. I like it now.
you gave him a good review, and they stacked it on their menu.
Yeah.
So do you ever
My claim to fame.
do
in
you
Wichita.
ever want to go back to doing any food reviewing and stuff like that again? Or?
No, I didn't do that many reviews. My always thing was about writing about cooks, how to cook stuff. I did a few reviews here.
You
and there.
didn't actually like review restaurants and stuff like that?
Not too often.
Not too often.
Every once in a while. But now Aaron's going to say what I said here.
Oh, they got the whole thing in there.
His whole entire article?
Yeah, the whole review on Great Wall.
I can't believe you come out with the Great Wall fucking menu too, like you're right on hand.
Who doesn't have the Great Wall menu?
I mean, I feel like I know what they have already.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the same shit every time I go.
You don't do the.
They have good food.
I love the General Tso.
They got
I love their General Tso
what a
chicken.
menu.
Their General Tso chicken is fucking amazing.
But I'm telling you,
menu.
that every town has that menu. They just changed the name.
They do.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
They streamline it well. I mean, they don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes sense. But.
Anyway, thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming out. And for you guys, like and subscribe. Aaron and Austin show. That helps us out a whole bunch.
Yeah, and quick thing for this guy: open mics on Thursdays are moving to Shamrock, correct?
On August 11th.
August 11th.
We're going to move the Thursday Jerry's full band open mic over to Shamrock.
Yep.
And that ought to be really cool. The Sham Jam has always been a really fun time.
Yeah, it's a good place.
We used to do a lot of like Blues Societies jams over there.
Yep.
Those
Shamrock's a
are really
great
fun.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more you do those open mics down in the trenches of Douglas and stuff, they just seem better.
They're just fun, man. And
Yeah.
I like that these are starting to get really nice and established. I'm seeing like new faces come out. I'm seeing a lot of people that are traveling through that are just looking for an open mic.
Yeah.
That's when it's cool.
And they find mine.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
that makes me feel good. I was like, okay, you're doing something cool. This is awesome.
So if you've been coming to the Barleycorns one on Wednesdays, look forward to that moving on August 11th.
August 11th.
August 11th.
We're going to.
It's
That's the
Jerry's
Thursday
that's
one.
moving to Shamrock.
Yeah, Jerry's is moving.
Yeah, Jerry's.
That's what I'm saying.
Barleycorns is staying at Barleycorns.
That's what I'm saying. If you like the Barleycorns one, you're going to get a lot of that same experience at the Shamrock one.
But it's full band.
And
Yeah.
since you're a foodie, we have Aaron Horton does Munchapotamus
Okay.
every Thursday.
Oh,
at
she's
Shamrock.
fantastic.
No, and the Shamrock does a lot of that pop-up like cooks and stuff too.
Oh man,
That's cool shit.
Yeah, so when we were doing so Barleycorns booked up a couple shows, and so we did those Wednesday open mics over at Shamrock. Last 2 weeks, actually, that's happened. And they had this barbecue guy there. Do you remember the name of his truck, John?
Sorry, barbecue guy.
CC's Barbecue? I don't remember now. He had those Cheddar Bobs.
Super yummy barbecue guy. And
Oh my God,
he
he's
had this
amazing.
thing called Cheddar Bobs, which was basically seasoned mashed potatoes
I'm all in.
over a bunch of cheese,
Okay, I'm all
and
in.
then deep fried.
Okay, I'm all the fucking
And so you like bite into them, and then the cheese goes ooey gooey.
all over the mashed potatoes. That sounds amazing.
That sounds good.
That does sound
Yeah, it
good.
was.
I love those
fantastic.
like pop-up things. Like that's a testament to another of how cool our cuisine is here. Like you don't have to have a fucking restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, fuck it. Here you can come in. Like what's that girl that makes the cinnamon rolls? Criminal rolls.
Erica Prophet.
Erica
Yeah,
Prophet. We need to
criminal
run the show
rolls.
sometime.
Yeah.
Shout out to Erica. Shit.
She
She's
gave
amazing.
she gave me a lemon blueberry fucking cinnamon roll at Barleycorns one night, dude. I ate that shit in my car on the way home like a goddamn criminal. I just didn't want anybody else to have any of it.
You were worried about me taking it. I was like, bro, you don't understand.
I was like, don't look at my cinnamon roll, John.
I ain't touching it. I know how good they are, and I want you to have every piece of that.
Man, it was
so that's something we can thank COVID for a little bit. Okay?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because a lot of the restaurants shut down. They couldn't do anything. And people were still making food out of their houses and, like, delivering it all around.
For sure.
And that hasn't really stopped. Now there's a big demand for, like, a USDA kitchen over here, and they just rent you time to make all your stuff so you can
oh, that's
sell
cool.
it out in different places.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
So you could, like, have a home spot.
Yeah, they're like
you could almost do that here even, kind of.
Yeah, if I had $50,000 to build a kitchen. Yeah.
But if somebody wanted to put that shit in, I guess they can. Well, all right.
Please do.
All right.
I appreciate you coming in, Joe. Make sure you check out all Joe's stuff, and we'll see you on the next episode, guys.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Theme song, buddy.
Roll that shit.
No dings this time, bud.
Oh, man, I like the dings.
I liked it halfway through, then the ding. It was funny for me.
All right, well, here's the theme song for you.
Is it a podcast? Is it a show? Gary and Oscar, they don't even know.